Hello humans, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Martha, if you've never been here before, and I post makeup related videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I hope you'll consider subscribing if you enjoy what you're watching. I am currently in the midst of doing a video series of collection videos, but if you've been paying attention, I already made a bronzer video a little while ago, so I'll link that down below because I have done the video. Not much has changed. This is not that video, if that's what you're thinking. This is the video for my pale people, my ghosts, my poltergeists, and my people that have not seen the sun in ages, like me. This is a video recommending bronzers for people with pale skin. Let's get straight to it. I have before me 10 products I wish to discuss, and I'm gonna do that right now. Now let's start with the cream product in this category. This is the Milk Makeup Bronzing Stick, Matte Bronzing Stick, in the shade Baked. Now I'm gonna swatch this on my forearm because clearly it's the palest part of me, so you can get a really good feel for how pale these are. So this is a lovely, I'm also going to try not to shake the camera. I'm sorry if it does shake. I'm trying my best. This is a lovely cream bronzer. It's a bit on the warm side, but, I mean, a lot of bronzers are, but it's not too warm, and you can blend it out quite nicely. So I wouldn't use this to contour or anything, but for bronzing, if you're in the market for a cream bronzer, this works pretty well. I'm content with this one. Next, let's talk drugstore. I have 3 drugstore / affordable bronzers here in front of me. This is the Makeup Revolution Holiday Romance Bronzer Reloaded bronzer in the shade Holiday Romance. Now this is a bronzer for extremely pale people. For example, me in the winter, and someone who might want more of a luminous, radiant kind of bronzer. So, as you can see, it's very, very fair, and it does have a nice little sheen to it. So if you don't want anything super overpowering, you don't want to contour with your bronzer, this is a nice little option. Next in the drugstore line is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It in the shade Light. Now this is a more cool tone bronzer, but again for the lover of a more radiant, luminous bronzer. I will swatch that beside the Revolution one, and you can see it's more pigmented, but it's still luminous and it is more cool toned. This Revolution one is incredibly light. This is the palest bronzer that I would consider a bronzer. So this one might look a little bit dark in comparison, but this is more of a general bronzer kind of a shade. This is a lovely, lovely option. Last in the drugstore category, we have the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade 01 Sun Light. This is a matte bronzer, and this is a cool tone bronzer. For the fair, cool toned people out there, this is a nice option for you. And if you're fair and warm toned, maybe you want to use this to contour with. I don't know. I'm not a skin tone expert. I'm just going with my experience. There we have our drugstore options. Now the rest of the bronzers I have are sort of mid-tone, higher end type situations. So this is the mid-tone kind of range of powder bronzers that we are going to discuss at this current moment. We'll come back to that. Hold your horses. This is from the Balm. It is the Take Home the Bronze in the shade Oliver. This is marketed as an anti-orange bronzer, so it's going to be more of a cool tone option. quite similar in shade. Maybe a touch more neutral than the Milani, and a little bit drier. This formula is not as silky to the touch as the Milani. Next is the Pure Bronzing Act Matte Bronzer in the shade Light. This is well used by me. I have hit pan. I did have it in my project pan, but I hit pan, and this smells fabulous. It smells like marshmallows, vanilla, wonderful things. And this is matte, neutral, leaning cool. And as you can see, it is quite light. Next we have the Fenty Beauty Stalk'r Bronzer in the shade Inda Sun. And these, let me tell you, they're worth the hype. This is a good bronzer. This is the lightest shade they have. And it is sort of a neutral shade. This Pure one is coming off a bit satiny on the skin. Not like luminous by any means, but this one is definitely matte. And last in this little section we have the Jouer Light to Medium Bronzer Duo. This has two shades. It has Sunlight and Suntan. So a lighter shade, a darker shade. And mainly I want to talk about the lighter shade, or you can mix them together. This is Suntan. It's darker, it's warmer, and this is Sunlight. And it's lighter. These are both kind of warm. More warm toned bronzers than the rest of the arm that we have going on. Next, this is a duo. So this one has an asterisk beside it because you'd have to buy it as a duo. But there is a bronzer in here. This is the Wander Beauty Trip for Two Bronzer and Blush Duo. I have the shade Bellini and Costa. Now, Bellini, nice peachy blush, works wonderful again on fair people. But the bronzer is Costa. This is a nice, it's very silky to the touch. And it's a cool toned pale bronzer. And it's beautiful. This one is more of a satin, so it has a touch of a sheen, but not too intense. So if you're looking for a blush bronzer duo, this one's a really good one to go for. Now the last bronzer we are going to discuss today is a Franken bronzer. This was the Winky Luxe Coffee Bronzer in the shade Latte. When I got it, it was not as cool toned as I was hoping it to be, so I Frankened it. So I mixed this bronzer, some setting powder, like some translucent setting powder. Did I? Maybe not. And a contour shade. You could also use a gray eyeshadow. And my end result was this. Now I will say, this bronzer smells disgusting. They tried to put in a coffee scent, didn't work. It's gross. It's even worse after I repressed it. But this, I used a couple times. I was blown away at how well this worked. So obviously I'm not recommending that you buy this product to Franken it, to destroy it and repress it again with other products, but it's a bit more, still a bit more warm than I probably would prefer, but you know, can't win them all. Anyways, back to my point. I'm not saying buy this product, destroy it, try and repress it, waste your money. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you buy a bronzer, you can't return it, you don't love it, you can't sell it on Poshmark, you can try and make it work for you. Makeup is makeup. Yeah, you put money into it, but if you're not going to use this as it is, it's a waste of money. So if it's too dark, you can add some powder to it, some face powder. or like a cream eyeshadow. That would lighten it up. Too warm toned, add a gray eyeshadow or some of a contour shade like I did. If you're comfortable repressing your makeup, this is something I would definitely suggest because it will let you get your money's worth out of products you regret buying. And that's what I'm doing with this one. Now, granted, I've only used it a few times, but I did enjoy it, and it's something I'm probably going to pan this year, or next year, or whenever I get around to it. It's on my list. But that's the point of including this bronzer in the collection. I didn't like it as it was. And maybe you do love it as it is, and that's great. I do think it was pretty fair, but it just wasn't the undertone I wanted. Don't take my word as gospel or anything. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's a suggestion. Try it out if you want to. Alright folks, that concludes my rampage about bronzers and the plight of the pale people. Now, I mean, I'm not going to go complaining that much about shade ranges because I'm clearly not the correct demographic to be doing that, but the ghosts need stuff too. Alright? We need spectrums of things. We need more dark things. We need more very light things. That's all I'm gonna say. Alright, so if you liked the video, give it a like. If you have any cool bronzer suggestions for pale people, leave it in the comments down below. Subscribe if you want to, and ring the bell to become a Pavlovian dog. And I will see you next time. Bye!